How's it going, everybody? Russell here with
Jay,
and on this classic movie grades review, we are going to be discussing the 1983 classic Mr. Mom, starring Michael Keaton as Jack Butler, Terry Garr as Carolyn Butler, Martin Mull as Mr. Ron Richardson, and of course, who honestly could forget Jeffrey Tambor as Jinx Latham. Okay, here's the basic rundown. So, it takes place in the early 1980s when jobs in Detroit are starting to, they're downsizing. So, Jack gets laid off, and right around that time, his wife, Caroline, gets hired. She works for some advertising agency, I believe. And so basically, they technically switch their roles. He winds up taking care of the kids and everything, doing all the housework, and she winds up being the bread maker for the family. And they're trying to adjust to their roles. She has problems in her area with Ron Richardson, Martin Mull's character, hitting on her, and Jack has problems with the other housewives trying to hit on him, as well as keeping everything in line so that Caroline's happy with him. So that's the basic rundown. The main joke of this movie, I'm not gonna lie, is a bit of a period piece thing. Because, and as Jay and I were even talking about it while we were watching the movie, you understand, today it's like, oh, okay, so he's a stay-at-home dad, who cares? Back in '83, that was practically unheard of. Dad went to work, mom stayed home with the kids. That's, that was just the way things were kind of accepted, so the idea of, a father staying home with his kids? Ooh, this should be some hilarious hijinks! On to you, Jay. What did you think?
I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it's cool seeing Michael Keaton before he was Beetlejuice, and even before he put on the dark cowl as Batman. It was really, and I liked some of the other characters, even though. So Christopher Lloyd was in this movie, but he had a very minimal role. He was one of Jack's friends, but also one of his co-workers, and he played Larry, and also Graham Jarvis was in this. He's been in a lot of stuff. He played like the agency's. Like, he was I want to say the president or the CEO. He did a commercial. I just thought the commercial he did was kind of lackluster, to be honest with you, with that gray background. I just feel like it was just... I feel like they should have put, like, an American flag or something, and I just thought...
I think there's a point of cheesy even they didn't want to go for. But it's funny, by the way, you should mention the commercial, because... back in 2011, there was a remake of Arthur. Just follow me here. And a lot of people were complaining about Arthur, saying, should we really be making a remake about Arthur now during a financial crisis back compared to 1981 when it was all successful? And I'm thinking, 1981 was not a good economy, and if you want proof, this movie takes place in '83, and they're talking about financial hardship back then. So, yeah, obviously this movie had it more accurate for the time. So I think I like how they basically spotlighted what the country's economic circumstance was actually like back then. So
I will mention this. The little girl, Megan Butler, was actually played by, it looks like, twins. And that was a big thing they used to do back in the 80s. Probably still do it to this day, but I know it's a big thing, like Michelle on Full House, even well, they were twins, they're kids, but they were actually twins on the show. But I feel like there's other shows and movies they do this with a lot of twins. Like, they'll use one twin and then they'll use the other twin. I guess it's just easier to work with them because sometimes it could be a lot of work on just one baby. Because you can see Courtney and Brittany White as Megan Butler. Yeah. So yeah, that was really interesting that I'm reading there. So that's cool how they still do that a lot. I'm sure they still do it these days with twins. It's easier to get a baby to do twins instead of having Who was that? Who was the checkout lady in the movie? What was?
Edie McClurg.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff too.
Oh,
She's done a lot of stuff.
One thing I'd also like to mention, by the way, so there's a scene in the movie where you see at one of the meetings that Caroline is at, they're eating both KFC and McDonald's. And I found the McDonald's thing funny because 1983, folks, was the year that Chicken McNuggets premiered. So I just thought that was kind of a cool thing. Not everyone would know that, but I just thought it was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
I think one of the cool scenes was the whole Young and the Restless thing. Like, he was watching, he really became like one of those, like, real, like it felt like he was a real mother, like how they would watch the soap operas and everything. And I guess he got so invested in it, he was like calling his buddies on the phone about it. And he also had I guess they always say like a sewing circle, like he had a group of girlfriends that he was playing poker with, and they were doing coupons. But the thing is, what was funny is it was either a daydream or something out of the blue, where they did a whole soap opera scene, like Young and the Restless, or Days of Our Lives, you know, that kind of thing, and that was really well done. I really liked that. You knew it wasn't real. You knew this had to be like something that was out of the blue of the movie, but I think it was very well done.
Actually, and I'd like to bring up a point based on what you just said. I mean, first of all, we already know that the premise of the movie, again, is a very dated premise at this point. But at least they knew that there were likely some cliches going with it, and they played with those cliches. So it kept things, you know, it kept things interesting, kept it moving, and kept you wondering where they were going to go with it next. And that is definitely the sign of a movie that knows that it's got something going there.
I saw some hints, like, of him being the ghost with the most. But I don't know about Batman, though. I mean, I see why some people were saying, like, how did he become Batman? Beetlejuice, yes, I could definitely see. But Batman, yeah, you even say yourself, a lot of people were saying, like, how can this guy be Batman?
Yeah.
But, hey, Michael Keaton is a great actor. I mean, he was just in the recent Spider-Man movie, and that was epic, and I loved his role in that movie.
Yes, but no one had seen Spider-Man Homecoming in 1983.
Nor had they saw Beetlejuice nor Batman.
Exactly.
So, yeah, this was a fun movie. It was really enjoyable. Definitely want to see if you haven't seen it. And
what's your final grade for it?
I'm gonna give this movie I'm gonna give this an A-. I really liked it. It was well done. It was good for its time. Like you said, some of the movie was kind of a period piece, but for the most part, it really worked out well. Because a lot of shows these days, you see a lot of 80s being done, and it's kind of like, you know, the notion of our time. So watching a movie from the 80s at this time in our lives is probably, you know, it works for us.
I'm going to give this movie a B, or, you know, make it a B+. And the reason is, I did not like it as much as Jay. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it as much as he did. But it was definitely a solid, fun flick, and I'm glad I got to see it finally. Okay.
Oh, this was a movie you were anticipating to see. Oh, also remember, it's 35 years.
That's right, 35th anniversary,
It'll be
folks.
35th anniversary.
I can't say that I was anticipating seeing it, but I'm glad I did. Like I said, and the best part is, it's one of those movies that even though they show a lot of references from the time, at least they do keep things fresh. So, trust me, not every movie is lucky enough to do that. So, give them props where, you know, credit.
Where credit is due.
So, this is Russ and
Jay.
And we'll see you next time.
This video is sponsored by the Crazy Kings of Toys. Check them out for all your toy needs and find out why they are so crazy. Find them on eBay, Bricklink, and Facebook. Links are in the description. For more Toxic Pop, visit our website at toxicpop1.wixsite.com/toxicpop. Email us at toxicpop1@gmail.com and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/toxicpop1 and Instagram at instagram.com/wearetoxicpop. Links are in the description.